In this video, we will walk through the process of entering annual emissions. The first screen is a summary of all the processes that have been previously entered for your facility. To add emissions for a specific process, select the Edit button. For each process, emissions should only be reported if they meet the minimum reporting requirements, which are 1 ton for each criteria air pollutant and 0.1 tons for hazardous air pollutants. You can uncheck the box indicating that there are no reportable emissions if the process does not meet the minimum reporting requirements. If you indicate that there are no reportable emissions, you will be required to provide an explanation in the comment box at the bottom of the screen. In this example, we will report emissions as follows. The annual throughput for this unit is 100 million standard cubic feet. The only throughput combinations available will be those that are associated with this selected SEC code. Supplemental calculation parameters are not required, but some may be needed for certain US EPA emission factor formulas. Under the Operations tab, we will enter the total operating hours for this process. Finally, we will enter pollutant emissions data. To demonstrate, we will enter the NOx emissions first. We will use SEMS data for this pollutant. Therefore, we only need to enter the total estimated emissions. For carbon monoxide, we will use stack testing as our calculation method and an emission factor of 2.5 pounds per hour. The system also requires us to enter the date in which the stack testing was conducted. Now we will add PM10 filterable emissions, and we'll use US EPA emission factor for the calculation method. Once this is selected, a pop-up will appear with possible emission factor formulas. The system will then calculate the emissions for us. If the system cannot find the appropriate emission factor, we recommend selecting the other emission factor option from the drop-down menu and ask that you cite the source of the emission factor in the comment box below. An example of this would be AP42, Table 3-2.2. Please note that EPA emission factors should not be used as a default calculation method. SEMS data, stack test data, and manufacturer specifications, when available, can provide a more accurate depiction of actual emissions. Once we have saved the emissions data, we can advance to the next unit process or return to the summary screen. If you click the next button without saving, the emissions data will be erased. In the next video, we will demonstrate the process of validating and submitting our emission inventory report.